everybody. Welcome to Boss Rush Podcast Pride Panel. I am your host, the excited and enlightened Eddie B. And joining me as my co-host for this episode, he's the cool down of the week. Please, everybody, welcome back to the show, Kamijace. Hello, good sir.
Hello. Hi. I came in too early. Hi.
Yes, welcome. How are you?
Doing all right. It's been the weirdest week for all kinds of news, not just video game related stuff. But you know what? I'm here. I'm still kicking. Can't keep a good dude down.
Okay. Yes. Well, Kent, just to give everybody a reminder of who you are, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. So I am Kamijace. I am I am the host of the Weekly Cooldown podcast. It is a podcast where we get to know the gaming news of the week and we get to know our guests. And that's all I got, I think, right now.
Okay, yes. But we have two special guests also. But before I introduce them, want to let you guys know that we did have another third guest, Caitlin Galiz Rowe. She's the founder and EIC of Uppercut Circuit. So we just want to I'm sorry, I pronounced it now. They are the founder and EIC of Uppercut Critic. So they couldn't make it, so just want to show them some love and everything. So I do apologize, Caitlin. I usually just say things unplanned. Sometimes I have to practice that, but we love you. And just to let you know, I did reach your Last of Us 2 review. Great job. It's just super great. But we're going to introduce our guest. My first guest, he's the Deep Space Nine of hunting monsters in this world. Everybody, please welcome LeRon D.
The Deep Space Nine of hunting monsters. Okay, well, yeah, that you just let everyone know that I'm a Trekkie and I'm all about Monster Hunter. Hey, everybody.
What else do we need?
Look, I already told him that The Next Generation is one of my favorite Star Treks, and I know you said that was your least favorite, but
fight
least favorite. I wouldn't. Okay, let me just clarify that real fast, so you know the Trekkies don't find me on Twitter and just attack me. I love The Next Gen, but compared to some of the stuff that came after it, I mean, The Next Gen. Going back and watching the 178 episodes of that, it's kind of a boring ride. There's definitely some good stories and stuff. There's some good stuff going on in it. But when you look at Deep Space Nine, Voyager is actually a lot of everybody's least favorite, the least favorite of the series, Voyager, because we're not even talking about the newer stuff. It's a toss up between Voyager and Enterprise that everybody is having issues about. But in my opinion, yeah, The Next Gen, great series. It was great for me because I was in early teens when it came out, and I'm a Trekkie. But at the same time, it was one of those things where it was like once the new stuff came along and they finally realized what Star Trek is all about and how the writing was going for that, The Next Gen just became like a boring series for me. All right, but the whole hunting monsters thing, yeah, that's Monster Hunter. Like I've been playing Monster Hunter since the first game came out back in 2004, back on PS2, and you can check out some of my shenanigans at Twitch TV/Exodus803. I am a terrible streamer. Like I don't always stick to my schedule, but typically I will play Monday, Wednesdays, and some of the weekend days.
Oh, so welcome to the streaming world.
Yeah. Brand new to it.
Streaming is hard.
Oh, right. I've been trying to learn all this stuff, and right now, like OBS has got me. Either I'm going to like run my head through my desk, or I'm going to put my fist through a monitor.
For me, it's like I can't keep this persona like going for like 3 days a week. I can only do it like once or twice. So
I just be myself out there. I do know that like one of the cool things about getting a Twitch audience is like if you have a personality that you like to bring to it, that will definitely get you more follows and more views and stuff like that. But for me, it's like I can't really fake that. So I'm just gonna be myself and try my best to keep an eye on the chat.
That's the other thing. Yeah.
But we have our next guest. His love for gaming never tires. It's Tirenzy. Hello, good sir.
Hey, what's up, everybody? How y'all doing?
Good. Could you introduce yourself to the audience, to the world?
I am Tirenzy. I am 26 years old. I am a new upcoming streamer. I was once on Mixer, but then,
Oh
the
boy.
shutdown started
Oh no.
happening. But
We
so
went.
I decided to go to Facebook Gaming. I figured I have a decent crowd over there since family, friends, all on Facebook. Why not make it easier for them to access me?
How is that going, Facebook gaming?
Yes.
It's a headache, honestly, right now, because learning that it's really weird. It's really weird right now. So it's a process right
We me and Corey and Jesse and the crew, we're probably gonna be talking about it. But we was thinking about adding Facebook gaming to our streams for the podcast, and we're just
now.
trying to get more information about it. So um hopefully later on, like whereas you tell us about it. And then when it comes to the time, because I'm still doing Mixer until it ends, and then I'm gonna try Facebook gaming after and see how that goes. Because my sorry, my PlayStation now stream now to YouTube. I got that set up, and I kind of want to do my Xbox One do YouTube, but it's not allowing me to do it for the system. So I'm trying to figure all of that out and everything. But we want to know more about Facebook gaming. No one hasn't
Yeah,
said
I
much.
definitely can get some information for you. I'm sorry.
Oh
Definitely
no,
can get some information for you.
that is all great. And everybody in our producing corner is the Wise Wisconsinite, Mr. Jesse Douglas, and Bossman himself, Corey Derrick. You guys can't see them, but once again, thank you guys for doing this podcast with us, checking out the chats. Helping us technically as we come together to gag, laugh, get into some good in-depth conversations. It's just literally just have fun and celebrate Pride Month with this panel. Now, let's get into some housekeeping real quick. For those who don't know this is the Boss Rush podcast, where each and every week live on twitch.tv/Boss Rush Games live and on Mixer currently.
For a
Corey
limited
Jess.
time.
Exactly. Corey Jesse, I should put that down for a limited time only. Corey Jesse and myself, as well as our friends from around the internet, come together to share our passion for games. If you could join us live on Saturdays, no big deal. You can head on over to youtube.com/BossRushGames or your favorite podcast service Monday mornings to catch the show. Remember to like, subscribe, follow, rate, and review whenever you consume it. Follow us on Twitter at Boss Rush Podcast. And remember, you can see all of our content on BossRushGames.com. So, the Mixer situation and actually kind of Microsoft situation in general. Everybody knows that July 22nd will be their last day for their Mixer platforms to be available. And then they're switching to Facebook Gaming. But they released most of their partners and said that it could go anywhere and everything. And then news broke out that they're keeping only 4 Microsoft stores open and the rest of them are permanently closing. I'm gonna ask you guys after that news came out. I kind of was thinking, what is going on with Microsoft? And definitely for viewers of Arsenal X, do check out next week's episode. Corey and Jesse and Carl and whoever guests, they're probably going to be diving more into this. But I want to ask you guys, what is going on with Microsoft? Like, why are they closing stores and Mixer and stuff? Um, Tyrenzy, what is your thought?
My thought is maybe it's due to the situation, money saving things and not getting the the income that they need. So
Mm-hmm.
why not harden her up?
Hmm. Okay. Kamijace, your thoughts?
It's hard to say really, because Microsoft has been doing the kind of games as a service thing for a little while now. So they've got
Mm-hmm.
the Xbox Games Pass, which they've spread across to PC, and a few other little business models that they've got going on. They obviously wanted to try and monopolize on the same streaming market as YouTube games, Facebook gaming, of course, and Twitch, of course. But I think there was more negative Can't ever say this word. More negative news with Mixer than there was positive. Even with Ninja leaving Twitch for Mixer, I think they didn't really capitalize on those gains. So at least in Mixer's arena, I think that they just hedged their losses and was like, you know what, we'll just shift over to Mark Zuckerstuckler and see what we can do. But with regards to the Microsoft Store, I'm not sure. I know that their stocks have not been doing well over the past couple of days. I'm not sure if that, it seems too quick for them to kind of come to that decision, just based off of like 5-day stocks or something like that. So I'm not sure what that's about. It's very strange.
Okay. What about you, LeRon? What are your thoughts?
Well, my thoughts on the mixer thing is I feel like in the case of this one, it was more of they were just way too late to the party on this one compared to YouTube and Twitch. That's my opinion. We always have people who want, and Microsoft kind of has this problem of being late to the game for a lot of stuff. If we look at the whole console gaming thing, they came in at a time. I think they kind of monopolized on the fact that Sega bowed out after the Dreamcast and they jumped in. But when you look at it as a whole, Microsoft seems to adapt a little too slowly, which is crazy to think because Microsoft kind of innovates when it comes to like technology, especially electronics and PC. Yes. So I feel my personal thoughts on it is like with the Mixer thing, they just came in late into the game because I remember it was a big deal when like we hear Mixer, Ninja, is moving from Twitch to Mixer. That was a big deal, and that was before I even thought about getting into streaming myself. But I was already under the impression that I was going to be a Twitch streamer, so I knew what Mixer was, so I didn't even think about it. But then being versatile and stuff like that in the industry, like I also do YouTube now, so I hate to see what's happened to everyone that's been affiliated with Mixer and stuff like that. I hope that there's not a big collapse because people do make their livelihoods off of streaming. People do that, yes. And hopefully there's not this big collapse behind it. I would hate to say at the end of the day, like, oh, we blame Microsoft for why like this talent just disappeared, things like that. But speaking about Microsoft closing like its storefronts and stuff like that, I'm not really sure about that because Microsoft isn't the only group that's closed storefronts. Like Nintendo did it last year. I think honestly they only have like 2 locations. I'm not sure. I'm not the best Nintendo person. I'm not that guy in the gaming industry when it comes to Nintendo. But if I'm not mistaken, you have me. if I'm not mistaken though, like this is not really a first. It's just kind of, I guess when we think about Microsoft though and computers and basically everybody has a computer, the news does seem kind of weird that they're closing their storefronts, but then again, who knows? Because like maybe Apple is next. I think part of it is because of COVID-19, because they've had because Microsoft reported like a major boost in like their online sales and stuff, and online sales and marketing. I know COVID-19 had something to do with that because I work in the IT field, and there was a time. Actually, if you look right now, it's hard to buy computer parts. Mm-hmm. It's hard to buy computer parts. Like one of my things is I build computers and stuff like that, and it took me 3 weeks of waiting just to get a tower so I could put all my parts in, and I was also waiting. Would you believe it? A keyboard and mouse. That slowed me down. That slowed me down from getting the actual computer built. And this is not a computer for myself. This is for somebody else. Wow. So I think it's too early to tell, like what the impact is for Microsoft, like closing all their storefronts and things like that. Me personally, I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal because our way of life is changing because of COVID-19, and I think this might be the one thing that they're adapting pretty early and quickly about. Sure. That's my opinion, though.
Yeah, I mentioned that. I'm like, it feels like they're restructuring for some unknown reason, and I don't know why. Like with the Microsoft stores closing, and I posted to you guys in the chat. I'm just like, where is a Microsoft store at? Because I don't. I literally have to. Someone told, like, Tirenzy, you told me there was the one in downtown Chicago, and I was just like,
Hmm.
where at downtown? I'm like, when I come to the city,
It was in the Nordstrom Mall,
is
but they
that
closed it down.
okay? All right, okay. I think I know where is that. Where's that one at? I have
It's
to
on
think.
Michigan.
Michigan. Okay. Um. Oh, okay. I know for me it's a hour drive because to Woodfield. You might heard of Woodfield Mall, Renzi.
Hmm.
That's where a Microsoft store is at, and it's because I'm
Mm.
like halfway close to Wisconsin. Uh, I was just like, I've never seen one in Wisconsin. There's not one in Gurnee, like where Six Flags is at. There's none there, and I was just
I'm
like, yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm in Hampton Roads, Virginia. Like I live like right on the edge of Yorktown out here, and the closest one to me, I just looked it up, is Arlington, Virginia. That's a 2.5 hour drive.
Mm.
Wow. Wow. Yeah, and I guess because when we think of Microsoft and buying their products, we go to Best Buy, Walmart,
Mhm.
Right.
Target, stuff like there. So we're getting their consoles and maybe a computer, or if we're getting one of their computers like a Surface tablet or something, we'll be at Best Buy because it's more available there. It was just
Yeah,
weird.
yeah.
I just didn't
My
know.
Best Buy has like a dedicated Microsoft rep there. My
Hmm.
my Best Buy does, the one that's like 10 minutes up the road from me.
Uh,
But like a Microsoft location could, like that Mariah Carey meme. I don't know her.
Yeah.
and the closest Apple store to me is a 35-minute drive across. I'd have to go through the tunnel to get to Virginia Beach.
uh,
Not Virginia Beach. I'm sorry, Norfolk.
Ours is like like about 25 minutes from us. It's in the rich neighborhood. If you think about it, and I'm
Yeah,
just
that's
like,
that's kind of the way I feel too. The hipster side of town.
right. As for Mixer, I am saddened because I had problems with Twitch on my Xbox One. Like it wasn't connecting. It would show that I'm streaming, but then I go to my Twitch page to go check it, and it wasn't there. And then this F2A authoring thing, if you literally lose your phone that you connected to, you really can't go back in and change it. They don't make a lot of stuff to change easy on Twitch. And
Right.
so I was just like, my Xbox One has Mixer. I could click it on. Okay, everybody, I'm playing Okami or Ikaruga. You guys could watch it, chat with me, let me know. I could go to my page. Bam, it's right there. And I could just see everybody having fun and enjoying. And I don't stream to like be a partner or affiliate and stuff. I want to show different games off because I feel like there's more to Fortnite and Street Fighter and Call of Duty. Of course, I'm playing Ikaruga or I'm playing Okami or I'm playing this weird Japanese European game. Like I want to buy Blazing Chrome and really show everybody that game and talk about the Sega Genesis with Contra Hard Corps and why games like these still matter. And if you're watching and thinking that you're a gamer because of Fortnite, I'm like, you need to play these games. I I I had somebody not mad at me, but I created a discussion that if you're able to play Fortnite, you should be able to get through Mega Man too.
You know what, you bring us to, you basically segued us into a great subject, because I mean, what I like just from hearing what you're talking about is like you have your niche. You're
Mhm.
like, we want the not so much the outdated games, but the more dated games that people didn't really think about,
Yeah.
now, because we have such popularity with the Call of Duties, the Battlefields, the Fortnites, the Overwatches, the crap. Even League of Legends and World of Warcraft is still a big deal and stuff like that. Like people consider. I stream Monster Hunter. I'm not trying to be the Monster Hunter streamer, but people consider Monster Hunter a niche game,
Yeah.
because it's not mainstream. Even though Capcom begs to differ, selling over 17 million copies of Monster
and
Hunter
and,
World.
and this is and LeRon, you probably could agree with me that back in the day, Monster Hunter wasn't big anywhere until Monster Hunter 4 came
It,
to 3DS. Like, look at that sales of the 3DS and how it was hard to find, how everybody was not only buying not only planning to buy Fire Emblem Awakening, I think at that time, or the following Fire Emblem, but Monster Hunter 4. everybody jumped on the
Yeah.
train.
Well,
No one
Monster
talked
Hunter.
about Monster Hunter.
Monster Hunter, when it first came out on PS2 in 2004, the only reason why I even like got into it is because I used to work for that devil that we call GameStop and EB Games. I used to work for them, and back then they used to push this magazine called EGM. Everybody remembers that because you want to get that bonus card that's supposed to give you like this percentage
No,
off. And
Game Informer. EGM was different.
yeah, you're right. You're right. No, it was called GMR. That's what it was called when it first came out. Before it was called Game Informer, it was called GMR. You know what? I guarantee you, I can dig through one of my boxes because, like, what got me turned on the Monster Hunter is like I walked into the store one day, getting to clock in for my shift, and they had the new magazines out, and I saw this giant dragon. You know, and this dude with this giant bone blade they're going at each other. And I'm like, what is this? And so I did the research on it. And I was like, oh, because I was in a phase of gaming where I was starting to fall out of love with Japanese RPGs. Like, as a matter of fact, in my opinion, like the RPG market is stale, but we can say that for another talk. I was starting to fall out of love with RPGs as a whole, specifically Japanese RPGs, because I come from the Final Fantasy era and everything Square Enix touch was just gold, you know, back then for me.
No. At that time, it's called Squaresoft.
Squaresoft, yeah. I'm getting my history mixed up, so Monster Hunter, I was like, you know, I looked at it, I read the information, I was like, okay, so this is technically an action RPG. So I told myself, this will be the last RPG that I actively will spend money on to play. And for the longest time, Monster Hunter was that game. And but Monster Hunter only had popularity in Japan because Japanese gamers get that type of style and that type of gameplay. So when I was trying to turn everybody on to Monster Hunter, everybody's like, oh, that game looks so hard. You know, like, wait, we have to cook our own food and stuff like that. I'm like, yeah, like, don't you do that in games like Harvest Moon? You pump like thousands of hours into those games, but you think it's too much of a chore in like a game like Monster Hunter because it's a more action oriented game and stuff like that. So
it's the Monster Hunter. If you now think about it in the modern sense, Monster Hunter is the Destiny meets Dark Souls realm of gaming. How you gotta grind to get better equipment, and sometimes you have to hunt over and over and over again, like you do, like you can't. Yeah. To get the good stuff, because like I didn't know it. I never saw it for PlayStation 2, but when I saw Monster Hunter Try come from Wii, snagged it.
That was actually everybody's first like taste for Monster Hunter. They put it on the Wii, and you know, as much as I honestly hate that Monster Hunter Try for the Wii, I honestly hate it because coming from the robust history of the PS2 games and the PSP games, we got the most watered down version of Monster Hunter when Try came out. Like there was only like 18 boss monsters and stuff like that, and that's coming from the previous game, which was on the PSP. That game had 100 and some odd boss monsters, and we went from that to 18. So they actually lost a good chunk of the initial player base because I spent 40 hours in the game and I was done.
Did Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate fix that?
It did actually, because Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate was basically a port of Monster Hunter Portable Third, and Portable Third was only available on the PSP in Japan. But of course, you know, like if you know what you're doing, you can play it over here in the States. But so Ultimate was a port of Portable Third, but it was also an upgrade. So basically, it was like the top tier version of that game. They added a whole bunch of stuff in. They put everything back together. They changed a whole bunch of things. They took out underwater combat, which everybody hates.
Sounds like a bad idea.
Yeah.
You know, it was interesting at first, and then you know when it's like, oh, a third of your monsters you have to fight in water, is like, no thanks.
Well, everybody, sorry for the Monster Hunter talk. sorry.
I actually didn't know.
Look, I
hijacked that. I'm sorry.
Put it in the chat that said if Monster Hunter talk come out, LeRon, you are talking about.
I did not mean to hijack it. I'm sorry.
I can say like two things about Monster Hunter, and one of them is that the character creation is pretty good. And I like the cooking cats.
Ah,
Yes.
That's all I got. I played enough of it to know what I'm doing, but not enough to like get real in depth about like the names of the monsters and
Oh,
which tail makes the
oh.
shield.
Okay, I need to recuse myself from this conversation.
Tirenzy, did you play Monster Hunter? Did you?
I actually
Uh,
got into Monster Hunter World. That's where I came in.
yes. Okay. How do
Oh,
you
So
enjoy
I
it?
know a little bit about it. I can't really like you said, I can't tell you like all the names of the monsters, but I got pretty far in it. Well, I beat the first part and I got into the expansion, but I didn't get far in the expansion.
I know
well,
what
let
a
me.
So
Rathalos is.
I agree. That grind is insane. It's insane sometimes. Like
But you know what's
hunting those
Okay.
monsters. It's not as bad as Destiny.
You
It's
know
not
what
as bad
though?
as Destiny.
You're talking about the grind in Monster Hunter World. Would you believe me if I said the grind in Monster Hunter World is like 1/5 of what it used to be from the and I'm even talking about Monster Hunter 4,
Sure.
which was the last game before World came out. Like the grind in this one is the one thing I will say is they streamlined the game well enough that anybody can pick it up, whether you're the
Yeah.
old school gamer who's been playing it since 2004, or whether you just want something new and you're tired of Destiny, or you're tired of what's another looter Division, you're tired of all those other looter shooters, and you know that's basically what it is. So I just want to ask one real quick question. As someone brand new to Monster Hunter, what do you think of World? How do you feel about it?
I enjoy it. I enjoy how simple they put it because I actually looked back into some of the other games. And I agree with you that the grind for the other games is completely worse than what it is now. I think they did a good job of simplifying it a little bit more, for the next generation.
Mhm.
So I like it. I really enjoyed the game. It's just I need to put the time in, which it's a
Exactly.
lot going on. A lot of games coming out. And, you
But-
want to go back to something, but be like, okay, let's
Like-
break this.
It's so satisfying when you take down a monster, even if that monster kick your tail.
It
You got to do the fight. When you hear that do and that monster go down, you be like, "Thank you, Jesus!" Like you did it on the only.
Most satisfying is cutting that tail off. I don't know
Yes.
why, but getting that tail off is just okay. You look.
It's like your validation that you're putting in work.
Right. Yeah. We almost there.
Yes. So everybody, we're gonna move on and actually get into our discussion. Let's get visible. Yes, I took it from that. But we're talking about visibility in the gaming community. And I kind of want to start off with you, LeRon. How did you get into content creation? And then Kamijace and then Tirenzy, same thing. Like, how did you guys all get into content creation?
Okay. I got into content creation and I've only been doing it for a few months now. So like I said, like I am a baby streamer in all regards. Like, but I'm doing it in the most roundabout way because I'm trying to do everything right now. But the main reason why I got into content streaming is because honestly, it was circling back to Monster Hunter, even though, like I said, I did not want to be a Monster Hunter streamer. But everybody back in the day, everybody was like, would come to me with questions about the game and stuff like that. So it got to the point where I just started joking around, like, "Oh, you guys want me to make a walkthrough or a strategy guide and stuff like that." And honestly, just watching stuff and how things evolved over Twitch and YouTube, it became something that I was like, you know what? I work in the IT field. I have all this computer equipment at my disposal and stuff like that. It's a no-brainer. Like, let me try it. I'm not even trying. I'm like you. I'm not trying to become an affiliate, nothing like that. If I get partnered and it happens, I'm happy for it and stuff like that. I'm not even sure if I want to be completely monetized. I feel like that brings its own headaches and struggles into it. But the major reason why I wanted to get into content creation is because I used to be a senior editor for an online blog called popcultureshock.com, and we basically talked about stuff from video games to music to movies to comic books to TV shows and all that stuff in between and stuff like that. So I was like, I miss that stuff. So I have kind of a knack for it. So why not do it? Just do it over YouTube and over and Twitch to some degree. I'm starting to learn that Twitch has its very own nuanced way about things. Like, you know, you get up there and you either have less discusses or you actually get in there and you play the games and chat with everybody. Whereas YouTube, you have that open forum where you can put up, you know, content and stuff like that. So that's honestly the way I got into content creation. It was a fun, like, you know what? Let's let my hobby have another hobby, basically.
Yes. What about you, Kamijace? How did you get to content creation?
Well, for this story, I have to take you all the way back to 2016. No.
This is gonna be good.
Well, I actually have a degree in communication studies and journalism. So my original plan for life, my original goal, was to be a journalist and to write and to do all that stuff. But my town is small enough where there are opportunities, but not enough where if you are like a brand new journalist, you only have a couple stories and bylines under your belt, you're not going to get it before like someone else. Plus, you need to know certain people, and I didn't intern enough for all that shit. So what I did do, as I was getting, little jobs here and there, just to stay afloat, was I would go and write for little publications in my town and so on and so forth. At some point, I decided maybe I should try writing video game stuff. Maybe that would help me out. And at the same time, I'm listening to podcasts, while I'm doing my day job. And I was like, maybe I could do podcasting. Podcasting sounds pretty interesting. And I was like, but it might be a lot of work, and I don't really like the sound of my voice, and I don't want people to hear my voice. And blah, blah, blah. So, one day I go down to my local radio station to actually meet with an old teacher of mine to see if there's any opportunities. He says, no, but I never really told you this, but you have a really great voice for radio, so you should keep trying out anyway. And I said, huh? I have a what? I have a good what? So a couple months later, I decide, okay, we're going to get the equipment. We're going to start doing this podcasting thing. And lo and behold, here we are 2 and some odd years, some months, 9-10 months, I think. Years later, we are here, and here I am, and yeah, podcasting. I don't do the Twitch stream bits with it. As I said, I think before the show, I find streaming kind of difficult. I don't know. It's hard to keep the energy live sometimes, I guess.
Yeah.
But I do want to kind of branch out from just the audio aspect. So, we'll see.
Yes. Tirenzy, how did you get into content creation?
I'm gonna be 100 with you. I first got into content creation because I like the attention, but I continued it.
Same. Because
I wanted to create a safe space where anybody could say, anything, talk about anything in the stream that I'm doing. Like him, LeRon, I am a baby streamer. I just got into it. So, with the whole, like we said, the earlier mixing thing going down is kind of restarting me, but that's where I'm trying to go as a content creator, as a streamer. I'm trying to build a safe space where everybody can come in, talk to me, even if you don't even want to talk to me, just watch what I'm doing. Just chill.
You're all beautiful people.
Here's probably one good thing that's going to come out of like Mixer basically collapsing and stuff like that, is because like you're probably going to, not to say it's like a sympathy thing, but you're probably going to pick up a pretty decent following just because it's like, oh, this guy was on Mixer and then he dealt with that whole folding and all that stuff. Like if he stuck with it, then chances are like he knows his stuff, or he's got some good content that he wants to put out there. So yeah, like Mixer, like that, I feel like that was a lost opportunity for a lot of people who devoted the time into it, except for Ninja and Shroud, of course, $30 million and $10 million, that's I was like, oh, you know what? Why didn't I do that? I could have already retired,
Well.
but yeah. So So I feel like some good things are going to happen, especially if, like, you guys just stick with it, like, for the mixer crowd. That's just my 2 cents. You know, what do I know? I'm a Twitch and slash YouTube guy. What do I know? You know, and
You're a
I'm not
baby
even.
streamer.
Yeah,
What
exactly.
do you know?
I'm not even experienced. Like, I'm still trying to get my OBS stuff figured out. You know.
Man,
Well,
I also was thinking about getting a YouTube channel started, but I'm not experienced enough to like edit videos personally. So I was gonna like ask my friends, my personal friends like Carl and Richard, who y'all had featured on the last show,
Yes.
to help me out with that. I think they're personally really dope editors. So I was gonna keep it in the crowd.
Yeah,
You know
see,
what I mean?
that's the thing about it too, because I do have a YouTube channel up that I'm not plugging right now because the reason why I'm not plugging it, if you come to my Twitch, you'll find out my YouTube channel, but I'm not plugging my YouTube channel because I was trying to get everything affiliated with my gamer tag,
Mm-hmm.
and apparently my really unique gamer tag that I've had since I was 19 years old, somebody else has had it,
oh
and
no.
their YouTube channel is called that, but they posted one video 8 years ago and abandoned their channel.
Wow.
so so I'm doing the whole, basically, you know, like, basically just like how politicians do it. I'm putting foot to pavement. I'm trying to get to that saturation point of 100 subscribers. That way I can create a custom URL. And at that point, then I'll actively be plugging my YouTube channel at that point. I mean, if you find my YouTube channel, please feel free to follow me. As a matter of fact, I will probably tell you guys after we cut recording this what my YouTube channel is, because I need the subs.
Yeah, here at Boss Special Games, we know everything that you're talking about. Well, I
I
know
think
for
it
me,
actually.
oh, well, for me, just real quick, that I got into content creation kind of back in the early 2000s. I had my personal blog on oneup.com because I've been a gamer since the 80s and buying EGM and GamePro. Like, my mom, I was an usher at church, and around Christmas time, I literally almost cried in church because my mom bought me a GamePro magazine in a box, and it was the one with Hook from Sony, and this was for the Sega Genesis, and like she knows me. I'm literally about to be like, hold on, Jesus, you can take the wheel for right now, but I'll call an Uber to catch up. I literally was in church about to cry because every time we went to Walgreens, I ever asked her for EGM a magazine. She would spend the $5 to get it for me, and then her just surprised me with that Game Pro thing, with everything. I have always been into games from consoles to PC to arcades, and then with One Up came, they gave me a space to be able to write and everything. And before Retronauts became its own podcast, they kind of threw out a question, what should we name this? And I threw out a name called Optional Opinion. They never took it, but I'm like, I like the name of this. And like, I love talking about video games and giving my opinion about different stuff that we don't talking about. And throughout the years, I even tried Ustream, doing audio, doing video before I got to the audio aspect. And then later on, about 2013, 14, later on, I meet Corey, and he's running his thing, DNA, and we were Nintendo fans, and we've been going on for 5+ years. We cooked up together, started doing Nintendo Power Block, and throughout the years, through different our ups and downs, we started creating content, whether we were writing, whether we was doing our own podcast. I mentioned Pod and Play, doing shows and stuff like that, and it was just like, this is my passion. I finally get to nerd out with somebody about video games, because I don't get to do that every day with people in my area, and to be able to now do it like do online with other people, it's always great to have these discussions and create content and everything. And I mentioned earlier, like, I don't get to create content with my LGBTQ community, and I kind of, that's why I'm glad that we're having this. And talking to you, LeRon, talking to you, Kamijace, talking to you, Tirenzy, and like other gay gamers around the world, us getting my, like, one of my friends, he kicked my tail in Killer Instinct on Xbox, and it was still fun because we were just having a good time talking and stuff. I'm like, it kind of opened my world to be like, I'm glad that I get to make this stuff out of my passion and deliver it to anybody who wants to see it. and the visibility is just like, as long as it's out there that anybody want to see, I'm so glad that it's happening. um but I kind of want to ask you guys, how different and difficult was it in the past to um ooh, uh how difficult and different was it is in the past, you know to now, to being out, like you guys coming out, like how hard was it? Do you guys feel like it's still hard coming out, um or do you think now it's kind of easier, but there's still things that we all have to deal with?
As the resident old guy in this podcast, I'm going to go last.
Fair enough.
Okay.
Uh,
Then Tirenzy, let me start with Tirenzy, because I think he's the youngest out of us.
well, we're the same
Okay,
age. How
yeah.
dare you?
Well, coming out, when I think about coming out, I go back to high school because
Mm,
that's like my first experience of like, oh wow, I'm gay. Do I tell other people? Do other people already know? But like coming out to me back then was a little harder than it is now. Simply because today people are more open minded and they more accepting than a lot of things. Back then, I was young. I didn't know what people would think of me. I'm freaking out. So I finally told one person, person became another, and it was okay. I've actually, believe it or not, I've never had like a bad coming out experience except for one person, which there's a time and a place for everything. Can't talk
mhm.
about that right now. But um, uh, I've had a good coming out. I wouldn't say good, but it was okay. I never had anything bad happen to me because I'm being gay or I am gay. I'm sorry. It was it's easier today. I'm gonna say
Uh,
that.
what about you, Kamijace?
I think it just depends, right? I think like anything else, it depends on who you are surrounded with, not who you surround yourself with, because sometimes you don't have control over that, but who you are surrounded by. Um,
Mhm.
my own coming out was kind of a mixed bag as well, with my friends because our my high school, we all kind of grew up with one another. We knew each other from elementary school and from middle school, so there were maybe 5 or 6 other gay guys, bisexual, etc., in my graduating class, even. And so we all knew each other. We all grew up with each other, and coming out was like, okay, great. Like we're all here. Like we're friends. Great. Um, but with the family, it was a little harder. My mom's a bit conservative, or she was back when I did come out. I must have been like 15 or 16 when I came out.
Mm,
So that was difficult. My grandmother's was very evangelical. Everyone has since come around. A lot of minds have been changed, I think, because of my coming out, um, and because of just the times changing, and being a little open-minded is seen as being smarter, I guess, in a way. It means that you've accepted that like things aren't always as black and white, quote unquote, as they want. As you want them to be. So I think it really just depends on the people around you. And once you do come out, it's kind of like taking control of who you want to be around you, right? So like
mm,
you don't have that security when you first start out. You just kind of choose friends based on, oh, I like this, yeah, you like that, blah blah blah, and you can't choose your family, of course. But once you do come out, you kind of have that control over, okay, you know what, this guy gave me a lot of shit for coming out. He's goodbye. And then you see, where your real friends are, where your family stands, and you can kind of more or less curate your life around that, right? Who's accepting of you. So is it easier? I don't know. It might be easier if you're online because there's tons of people out there who will help you get through whatever hardships you might be going through when you
mhm,
come out to family
mhm.
and friends.
Yeah, I for like me, like it's kind of been a up and down journey. That I told most of my friends, but not really my family or anything. And it kind of started out that I was very attracted to men, but then I'm just like, no, but I love women too. And so trying to find a word and define myself, I was just like, as a bi person, I'm just like, you know, yes, I could go either way and everything, but I'm just like, I guess I just kind of like accepted myself as being a bi person. Um, and if I tell somebody or they feel like if they like if someone come up and ask me, I'll tell them what it is. If they don't come up and ask me, it is what it is. They not saying that it's none of their business or anything, but I'm just like, you kind of see from my mannerism, and if you hear a big yas and it'd be like look at this shady. Like if you just like sometimes pick up my mannerisms and stuff, straight dudes don't act that way. So it's kind of should hint to you that be like, okay, Eddie is a character and this and that. But I'm like, I guess it's easier to tell my friends about things about me than it is my family because they still have a viewpoint of things. But it's just like whether you accept me or not, I still love you guys. Whatever happens between our relationship, it will just happen. If you feel still if you still feel a certain way about things, I'm like, times have changed and kind of get with the modern program.
Yeah.
Things are being accepted, and what I do and how I live my life will never affect you. You're not going to be judged by something I do or anything like that. You'll be judged for any craziness that you do on your side,
Hmm.
not from what I do. So, and if you feel that certain type of way, that would be you. But
That's your business.
exactly. But I it took me a while to accept that because it's just like you don't know what people's reactions are, so you don't say anything because
Mm.
of you fear the reactions. But now I'm just like, I'm a grown person. Whatever that reaction would be, look, if you're trying to get a nomination for Academy Award for Best Drama, I'll give it to you. Your name is on the list. Whoever could give the best drama, here's the award. Do whatever you want to because I'm like, you got the award and it don't matter to me at all.
Maybe that's what we should do. Like when people start drama with you about being gay or bi or whatever, we should have an award. But here's the award is like extra gay, so they have to take it and
Yes.
they have to like, here's your award, and it's like a dildo. I don't know.
Well, I mean, you literally you give them a award, you stand up, give them a standing ovation, and be like speech.
There you go. Right? Yeah. Here's your dick. Let's talk. Go ahead.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? That would probably change some minds right there.
Maybe that's what some Republicans want. Maybe they want an award. Feel like they
Well,
achieved something.
Oh, you mean like Lindsey Graham?
Lady G.
Oh, that hot mess. I was on my computer just like, I can't with this. I need some pancakes. Let me go to Dunkin' Donuts or
You
something.
know,
I read that and was just like, this is the most.
as a guy that's been dragged out of the closet, I I consider myself bisexual. I am attracted to both men and women. It's part of my identity and things like that. As somebody who's been dragged out of the closet because I came up through. I'm 45 years old. I just had my 45th birthday, and I've come up through the eras. I was in the military during Don't Ask, Don't Tell.
Mm.
I was in. When did marriage equality happen? How long ago was that?
2015.
Okay,
yeah, because
so
they
I
just
was
celebrated.
So I was leaving my 30s when marriage equality happened, stuff like that. I've seen all the eras, the Defense of the Marriage Act, all that stuff. It was hard for me. It was hard for me to come to terms with it, and especially when you think about like when we're in school and we're like 1% different from everybody else, people just come at you, And there's a saying that a lot of us have heard before, like everybody knows you're gay before you do.
Mm.
And for the longest time, like everybody's telling me this stuff, and I'm like, I'm not quite sure what you're talking about. And then learning about it and stuff like that, you feel some sort of shame behind it and stuff like that. So you want to hide like that aspect and that personality of yourself. And I was one of those people. especially when I got into a career where, like, like this lifestyle, this acknowledgement of this lifestyle could make me lose that career and stuff like that. So I buried it. I buried it for a while, but after I got in the military, I definitely came to embrace it more. And it was starting to get easier because surrounding myself with the right people and things like that, helped out with that. I also came from a very conservative and evangelical family and stuff like that. And so I remember sometimes, sometimes family, they're not directing it at you, but sometimes you pick up on stuff that your family members are saying, things like that, and say, okay, well, I don't think I want to say anything to these people right now about this stuff
Mhm.
and things like that. Ultimately though, let me see, it was in my last relationship. I was dating a guy at the time that I finally had the courage to finally say something to my mom and let my family unit know, because like everybody that knows me in my regular life knew about my sexual orientation. My family was the last one to do it, and I was always afraid because my mom is like she's a pretty religious woman, and I'm like, okay, this is the test right here. Like, I'm either like, it's either going to be accepted or I'm about to lose my relationship with my mom, stuff like that. And she took it. She took it better. She received it better than I could have ultimately hoped for and stuff like that. And so now I'm sitting here thinking in the back of my mind, like, what took me so long? But as far as like how different and how difficult, back in the 80s, the early 90s, and probably even like the early double O's, it was pretty difficult for people, especially when you've got the news and politicians telling us that it's absolutely wrong and stuff like that. And of course you've got the evangelicals and the Bible thumpers saying stuff about it. It makes it pretty hard and stuff like that. But we are getting to a point where our society is evolving to the point where I was like, you know what, they're still a human being at the end of the day. They put their pants on the same way. The technicalities of who and how they love may be a little different, but they still love people the same way you're supposed to love people and things like that. And so it's definitely a lot better. And yes, the internet does make things easier because there are people out there that the moment they admit, that they're not straight, their life turns upside down for like the way, in like the worst way. And being able to advocate and help out people in situations when they're being kicked at their lowest point, that helps things a lot. Because I was just telling some people the other day, like having the right conversation with someone, basically prevents them from killing themselves.
Mhm.
When they feel that they are just they're just wrong for all the wrong reasons and things like that. So I feel like it's definitely a lot bit easier to come out now. And yes, it's being more accepted. Yeah, we were talking about straight pride a little while ago. It's
We
all,
like
and
that.
it's not like it's not like LGBTQ community is like trying to be all up in your face about it. It's more that we just want to be seen and recognized. Just like this is the next wave of the civil rights era for our country. This is the
It's a
next wave.
revolution.
Yeah.
Yep.
And definitely, if you look at, I think I was talking to Jesse, or I was talking to somebody, and I mentioned All in the Family, um, with Archie Bunker and stuff, and he kind of represented a certain side on how he views black people, how he views homosexuality, how he views religion. Like, he was all in composed, and it was just a sitcom, like back in what, like the 70s or something. And like
Yeah.
when you literally look at it, on even how he looked at trans people and stuff. And it's just like you embodied so many viewpoints as a character because that's how you was written. You kind of like you kind of got to realize that you're not going to have sympathy or empathy until you change. And for some people nowadays, they have this Archie Bunker personality and characteristics toward different people in the gaming community, towards gay gamers, toward different races, even genders and stuff. And it's kind of like we just want to be here to make our content, to play games and have fun. There shouldn't be no certain way uh things should be done, in a sense. Someone put on a question that's like, is tradition important? And I thought about it. I'm just like, no, tradition isn't important.
No.
You could there are some things you can do traditional, whether you felt like you was taught that way, whether you want to still keep it in remembrance of your family and make someone proud while they're still alive. But sometimes you could break tradition and do something different. That's the way that things evolve. That's the way things are kind of enhanced and everything. It was just it's really interesting because definitely for all four of us, it's just like we want to get our stuff out there. um our sexual preference doesn't represent us or make us fully. It's who we are. As you might be like, oh, he's gay, so he only does. I'm like, no. LeRon is playing Monster Hunter. Kamijace is playing Smash. Tirenzy, you're probably playing like Castlevania or something. Like we all, like we all, I, I don't fully know everybody's gaming habits and stuff, but we all like
I think
different
I
stuff.
think the gayest thing I do is when I play Tekken and I'm playing with Anna Williams. That's apparently she's like one of those characters that gay people gravitate to. Even if my best friend, he's like this is how I know you're gay, and I'm like, how? Because you pick her. And I'm like, do you see all the other characters I play with? you hone in on her.
Right. Like what happens if you're playing Dead or Alive and you see the jiggles and the physics? It's just like, okay, yes,
No, hold on. When I see that, I ask, "Where's the ones for the men?"
You know what? You know what?
Jiggles.
That's the one. That's the one thing. That's the one thing I will say. Like the modding community for the PC, like they've learned to even it. They've learned to even it out because I mean,
Right.
Have you guys seen the video of the Carlos Oliveira mod from Resident Evil 3?
Yes, I have. Thank you. Way too many times.
I love the
What's
fact
that?
that cover just answered that quick.
Well, because
Hold on. Do you have the link for it? If you have the link for it, send it to me so I can download it.
no, it's always bothered me because I think, and it's a weird tangent, but I think the reason why I always talk about it, there's jiggle physics for women, why aren't there jiggle physics for men, is because I watched a ton, and I mean a ton, of wrestling when I was a kid. Not because I wanted to, but because either I shared a room with my brother and it was on, or I was at my grandmother's house and my uncle was there and it was on. So someone was always watching it and I was like, fine, whatever. But the thing about wrestling is that you do get it both ways with wrestling.
Yeah.
Literally scantily clad, topless dudes.
It's hyper masculine.
It's very hyper masculine. It's very homoerotic, and they are not afraid to put anyone in just some fucking underwear. So, it really bothers me that we haven't gotten to the era of video games where, aside from a few video games like Saints Row and a couple of others, where you're actually getting into the male, like hyper male sexualization. Because if you're going to do it to women,
it's hilarious. You said Saints Row because I remember Saints Row 3. I remember Saints Row 3 when they threw you into a whorehouse so you could break somebody out.
It's wonderful.
and if your character was a male character by default, guess what? you were a hoe at that point.
That I love Saints Row 3. Everybody should own it. You should
Peak
play.
Equality.
Yes, the ragtime physics is like there, but like the dildo bed, the like being able to dress your character in different stuff. Like
when you turn the bolt slider up, it's there for every single outfit you wear.
To create a female, create a female character with a male body. Come on.
Oh my!
You can do everything in that game. It is peak equality.
Yes. Saints Row. and I think that's why from Saints Row 3 to Saints Row 4, just like whatever. And I think Saints Row 3 still holds better up today because of that
Yeah, yes.
customization. And Kamijace, you mentioned wrestling. When Batista came out, I just like my gay
Yo,
side came. I was just like, I
is it
need you.
is it me or did Batista and Randy Orton have like the smallest pair of freaking Spanx?
Thank you.
Yes, yes, yes.
I mean, even The Rock was modest about his, you know.
Yes,
Wonderful
that's
all I have to say.
yes.
Mhm.
Saints Row. We're gonna have to come back together and talk about Saints Row 3 because that game, I loved it. And running away from the cops in some high heels, dressed as a Karen, as a male, and you just this big buff dude, and it's just like this is complete foolishness. But I love that they gave it. I should have.
You know what? We need to thank Saints Row, well, especially Saints Row 3, because Saints Row 3 is what made Grand Theft Auto better.
I think so.
No,
You don't think so?
No, Grand Theft Auto has been a terrible series from ever since 3. And Saints Row 3 and Silent. Okay,
I like.
Saints Row 3 and Sleeping Dogs surpass Grand Theft Auto.
Sleeping
Literally
Dogs. Oh my god. Oh,
literally
another gem.
from gameplay to graphics to storyline to missions on how they play. Grand Theft Auto is old, and it's just like you. Okay, yes, you are buying that game to do stuff, but if you really want some good open world games, Sleeping Dogs with its story and
Yes,
everything.
yes, yes.
Saints Row 3 for its comedy and everything. Of course, Breath of the Wild. But it was just like I look at Grand Theft Auto, and I'm just like, these are the same cliche tricks that you guys play, and it's tiresome. Like you haven't evolved from nothing. You know, yeah,
That's true.
you made a bigger city, but if your car is if I could control the characters in ET on the Atari 2600 better than the flying mechanics, and your 20 million plus selling game, that's a problem. Like Star Fox controls better than the gaming
Oh
flying.
wow.
Mario Kart driving, Crash Bandicoot, Sonic. Oh,
Okay. I think we can sum it up real easy by saying that that Rockstar has always taken the safe route
Sure.
with the Grand Theft Auto series. They take more chances with Red Dead Redemption than they've ever taken with
Yes.
Grand Theft Auto. The
true.
biggest chance they took with the Grand Theft Auto series was the shift from GTA 1 and 2 to GTA 3 and
Yes.
forward. That was the biggest risk they took. And you know, that was a wonderful risk, but Saints Row has been doing it better since Saints Row 2.
And we need a new one.
Yes. So, sorry, no, that's part of the show. Yes, so we're gonna continue.
Yeah. We need to move on. This is about pride.
So, we kind of merged into like the hardships and positives when we start to deal with and what we overcame. But what you guys think matters about our content and why we continue to do it? Why, like, as gay content creators, why do we try to put out there to show people that we just want to enjoy games and really showcase why it matters.
Oh,
in
can I go
things.
first? Can I go
Yes.
first? Okay. The reason why I want to go first is because I don't really put my orientation like front and center. Every now and then it leaks out into the streams or into the content that I create and stuff like that. But for the most part, like it's all about just see me for who I am, and like my sexuality is like just an extra, like it's just an extra facet of it and stuff like that. Now that does not mean that I just openly run away from the stuff like that, because we were talking about Saints Row and I was actually thinking about 4K modding my PC version of Saints Row, like I'm doing right now with Mass Effect.
Oh,
And
that
to
looks so beautiful. Oh,
thank you. I've got 4 more videos I need to edit to put up on YouTube. Eventually, it's coming. But I'm not afraid to. Honestly, at this point, I'm not afraid to put that stuff out there. I just don't just run after it though. That's the thing about it. So when it comes to what matters most about the content, I just at the end of the day, I just want to make the connections, have the chat. I don't even know if I want to become a personality. Like I don't want to be the next Philip DeFranco, or I don't want to be the next Harris Heller. Who Harris Heller I love. He's giving me he's given me so much information through his videos and stuff
Mhm.
to become better streamers and stuff like that. I don't want I don't know what the road's going to be down for me. As a matter of fact, I got to start thinking about recreating a room and making it into a studio for me to actually create actual content and stream better and stuff like that, because I'm a bedroom streamer, but at the end of the day, like I just want to be able to make connections, have people come check me out, whether I'm gaming or whether I'm talking about stuff that's going on in the news. Like I guarantee if Rihanna drops an album, like I will create and make a video edit, of my review for it, like that. And that's the thing about it. I just want my personality to be front and center.
Yes. What about you, Tirenzy? I know.
What matters most with my content is positivity. I like putting out positive content. I'm all for people, being with each other, one with each other. You don't have to be violent all the time.
Mhm.
And why I continue to do it is to make a safe space so we can provide positivity. That's why I
Amen.
continue.
Yes. What about you, Kamijace?
Sorry, I was letting my cats in. So I actually kind of put my sexuality and the fact that I'm gay and black out into my content very often, mostly because another reason why I started podcasting is because, like, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think we get sick of like the same three white straight guys in IGN just talking about the gaming news and what they thought about this game, and they like really shoehorn in some terrible jokes while they're talking about it. So I said, you know what? I'm going to do the exact same thing they do, but I'm also going to let it be known that like I'm black and I'm gay and I maybe do it better. So that's really part of the reason why I put my sexuality out there. Is I really want people to know that, first of all, um, like you have a community here, right? For the LGBTQ people, you can come here. You're safe with me. And also to let other people who are not necessarily cool with the fact that I'm gay and black to say like, fuck off, bye, see you later. I much like everyone else, I want the positivity. I'm not looking necessarily for the debate culture, the
Oh
constant kind
yeah.
of re-rolling of is this okay, is that okay. No, I don't need all that. Like, come tell me your opinion, we'll chat about it. All right, bye. um so I'm also here for the positivity as well, but like also being that tiny champion of gay rights, black lives, and so on and so forth.
Yeah. I know for me, like separating from boss rush and optional opinion is like definitely with optional. I love to get a platform for anyone who wants to come in and have these talks about video games. Like I keep plugging this or I keep talking about this. Like have video games help your sex life, and
Right.
I kind of I went about it like talking to a gay person, talking to a straight person. I still got a married couple, but it was just like, let's talk about video games and how that, you know, plays a part in your sex life from any kind of, well, not any kind of aspect, but like kind of from different, you know, people who like sex in different ways. So like because if you like talk to a person, and video games might be people's kink to their sex lives and stuff, and it
So we're
just
talking like Second Life here.
no, no, but
Oh
like,
boy.
wow. but it,
Oh
but
my.
but it's just like, just being able to have that discussion and like educate and everything. Like
Mhm.
like boss rush, like our motto is play video games, be better. And that's mostly like this. We can be better in video games. Let's be better to one another in everything. And our sexual preference don't really come up unless it's a topic that we want to discuss. Normally we don't talk about it. We're talking about Nintendo or what Series X is doing or Microsoft or the PlayStation 5 reveal with that confusing uh system design, but the black and blue looks good. But we talk about like video games like that, but we're also talking about Ninja Turtles. We're talking about Men in Black. We're talking about writing, and we talk about other stuff, and so our sexual preference kind of fall back from that. Like it's yeah. So but I feel like we're optional. It's just like anyone could come in, and there's things that's educational to me, like I spoke to another gay person about depression, because I kind of wanted to talk to one, but it's like, yes, you are a gay person dealing with depression, but I want to talk to you about depression because you deal with it more often than I do, and I want to be educated so anyone, regardless of what your sexual preference is, knows how to handle depression. There are straight people who deal with depression. There are um and even animals that deal with depression and stuff, like they may miss their master or someone that they're connected to, and it's because like how do you handle stuff with that? And so that my platform for that, it's just really open, and if people want to talk about like being a letter daddy playing God of War, like let's have that discussion because I
Yeah, let's.
but
That sounds like a lot of fun.
but I'm like, let's have that discussion because yes, it is video game related, but I'm just like, maybe there are outfits of video game characters that turn various people on. As we get into our the hot characters a little bit later, there might be stuff that turn people on. Like, man, people who play Dead or Alive, or I forgot the creator name and stuff, how he used his games to be like, we know man loves sex appeal, so if our games sell the sex appeal, we're gonna put in those jiggle physics, and it's just like, well, that's kind of tiresome. But like, we look at Bayonetta and we like, yes, queen, beat that devil and that angel, 55 hit combos up in the air,
You
like
know,
can,
here's
can you
here's
can you not
here's all I
deny?
got.
Oh, go ahead.
Here's all I gotta say. Like Bayonetta was made for the gays. Bayonetta was made for the gays.
I will say that I
Mhm.
absolutely find the like dichotomy between gaming and not necessarily just sexuality, but sex in general to be
Mhm.
the most interesting thing ever. Because there is oh shit, what's the name of the indie game? There's an indie game made by like three guys. Um, it was made for the bear community in particular. Um,
Oh, I know what you're talking.
I think
I
it's
know what you're
called
talking about.
Strange Flesh.
I,
Oh,
I
oh,
Yes, it is Strange
yes,
Flesh.
yes.
And Strange Flesh is incredibly graphic in its depictions of gay sex. It's got a lot
I've
of
never
kink
heard of this.
fetishes. Oh my gosh.
it
It's got a
is.
lot of kink fetishes in
Oh my
it.
god.
But I played the game, and the beat 'em up style is what they're going for, like Streets of Rage and
Hmm.
Double Dragon, stuff like that. And it plays beautifully. Like they know what they're doing. It's a really, really good game. It just so happens to also be like
Uh,
fetish porn.
Tirenzy, can you speak on this? Because I've never heard of
yeah,
this.
I've actually looked into this game, and like you said, the mechanics, like the beat 'em up style, is Streets of Rage style, and like
Mhm.
it's great. It's fun to play, but it just happened to be very erotic as hell. Like anything you do turns into fucking. Okay,
Is it?
I
I
love
would
it.
just put it out like that. Anything you do just turns into jet, and like you said, this combat is great, but it's just very like
Is it?
erotic as
It's
hell.
incredibly
It's
great.
So
it's
so so
not the
apparently I've been playing the wrong games because I played Dream Daddy, I played Coming Out on Top, but I've never heard.
wait coming out on top. I
Oh
That's
need
a
to
yeah,
link
visual
to all.
novel. It's
I
not
need to
bad.
link to this
that
stuff.
is it's like a visual novel. It's like a visual
Okay,
novel.
because I know there was one beat 'em up that this guy falls asleep in a bar, and like you're beating up letter daddies, and like
Yeah,
there's
that's
points
it.
that you
There you go.
like sucking people off to
Yep,
get
you
a
got it.
virus.
Wait, that's the game?
That's Strange Flesh. It is free to play.
I am.
Okay, so
Is
it was. I think it was.
it on Steam? Where's that?
Oh no, of course not.
No, it has its own website. It had it on
Yeah,
its own website, right? That you
it
can
has its
download
own
and play.
website. It has a. I think it has a. I don't know. I can't say for sure.
Oh,
But I'm pretty sure it has
I just googled it. I found it.
yeah, just Google's your best friend. It's Google's everyone's best friend.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, jokes aside, what I found incredibly interesting about it is that they found a way to mash these two concepts together, right? It's definitely like hardcore fetish, but really amazing beat 'em up style gameplay, and then they just smash, right?
Oh.
They just put them together.
I love how you just illustrated that. I just love how you illustrated that.
Smash.
Yo,
But
in every connotation of the word.
I think the more we talk about kind of games as a means of entertainment, we start to think about, okay, well, whose entertainment are we going for now, right? So like there's games for kids, obviously. Most people would think games are for kids still, but then there's like, games for adults where there's cussing and there might be some suggestive themes. Games for other adults where there's definitely suggestive themes, but it's usually geared toward straight people. And then there's indie games like this, which are like, okay, you know what? We're not even going to be suggestive about it. We're just going to put it right in your face, and you deal with it as you deal with it.
Because we have the rating AO,
right?
21 and older. So if that rating is there and it's allowed to be played, and definitely that's a real big benefit over with PC over console, is that we get to experience what yes, it's this goofy sex game that might be, but it might also be where we could dive in, and there's some people who might take sex serious, so that you could teach and everything. You kind of got to look at the context of what is being presented in front of you. And if you are like a literally horny dude, whether you gay or straight, you're going to make something that is for you,
right,
like that. Because and this might be a little bit off the topic, but me and Kamijace was looking at that one story with the Twitch streamers or that guy suing Twitch for $25 million because the streamers that he is subscribed to all dress sexy and stuff, and he's a sex addict. Yeah, he don't have no man, and he just like, because they dress suggestively, and if you look at the stuff, it was just like,
okay, I need to read this article. Send that to me later.
Listen to the weekly cooldown. You can I'll hear all about it. Thank you.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah, gotcha.
Yeah, I'll also send you the link. So because it has the court documents for everything about it, and it's just like, what are you doing? Like, how are you trying to sue them for $25 million when you already admitted that you're a sex addict? So you already looking for this stuff.
This starts to explain why Twitch does some of the things they do now, because Twitch is probably most likely Twitch is trying to be just as elevated as YouTube is, so they're trying to find ways to not escape liability, but protect the proprietary people. That's us, the streamers. Protect us, but at the same time, make sure that what we do does not impact their bottom line and their likelihood. I'm starting to get it now. I understand now why, like, the Twitch community is kind of upset at some of the stuff that Twitch is doing, but they're not as upset as like the YouTube community is about what YouTube does and YouTube and Google does all the time.
Yeah. Yes. That's Ooh, preach. Ooh, I felt the organ. I think I'm at the shop for it. Did you want to take up? Sorry. My spirit just says yes. So kind of want to ask you guys how Mass Effect may have opened the doors to having gay characters, or what should that go to Berto? Okay, so I'm already going to admit that I had, when I play Mass Effect, turned me around on BioWare, because I did not like BioWare at all.
So
But
you were not a Knights of the Old Republic fan or
no,
Jade Empire.
J Empire I love. Still got that on my Xbox, on my original Xbox in the case. Love that game. Knights of the Old Republic, I wanted to throw BioWare into a fire.
You know,
I
it's
felt
funny.
that game was garbage.
You know, it's funny you say
Questionable
that though.
content, I gotta say.
You know, it's funny you say that though, because KOTOR, if I'm not mistaken, was like one of the first games that actually had like, you know, like gay friendly content in it. If I'm not mistaken.
I couldn't get past to the first mission because it didn't tell you what to do.
Okay. Well,
So I was just
we
like,
can move on then. We can move
yeah.
on.
But then I played Mass Effect, and one was a struggle, but then I got into Mass Effect 2, and I really took the romance options like really, really I really dived into it. And of course, Mass Effect 2 and 3 are like two of my greatest games from BioWare. And I was just like being able to have this freedom to love a same sex and like really have a cutscene wherever Fox was trying to make it at that time. Just like being able to be like, this is kind of cool that we can make not only our own moral choices, but our life choices that we want to do with this character. So Rizzy, had you played Mass Effect
I'm gonna
or the
keep it
series?
real. I got into Mass Effect. I can only probably even tell you like the first planet of each of them, and after that, I was like, not for me.
Well,
So I'm not gonna be too much of a talker in this conversation.
but well, like, where do you? Well, and that's why I put like Birdo. Have you played Super Mario Brothers 2
Oh god.
for the NES?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and how when that came out, like Birdo was a boy, yeah, and everything. Like,
You know
could we?
what? You know what? I feel like Birdo is like the I don't want to like co-opt this whole thing, but I think Birdo is a bad choice because if we're going to talk about some original LGBT representation, we need to talk about Poison from
Street Fighter,
Final
yeah.
Fight.
Yep.
Yes.
Final
Okay.
Fight.
Yes.
Because that threw me when it's like when they finally brought her out in the street. Was it Street Fighter 4 was the 1st game when they brought her out, and it was like, wait, her is a him,
Mm-hmm.
and they're like,
No,
yes,
Third Strike.
was it Third Strike? Well, no, she was
No.
more.
No.
She was
Alpha 3 because
she wasn't out. She was not in Alpha 3.
Final fight.
She was
you couldn't control her, but because you was Hugo or whatever his name.
That was Third Strike.
Third Strike. She was there presenting, but controlling wise, then yes, Street Fighter 4, yes.
Yeah. Well, even then though, I thought that even then when they brought her out, and I'm gonna call her because I mean, you know, like respecting everybody's pronouns and stuff, she would want to be called her, she or her, you know, her, she, her. That. But anyway, that was. If we look back at the history of that character, that is the first character that a lot of people in modern gaming that have been playing since the 80s would know about. They would know about Poison before they knew about Birdo in Super Mario. Because my whole thing about Birdo and Super Mario is that we were brought into the whole thing under the guise that Birdo is a girl. And it wasn't until like we started getting the masters of Super Mario Brothers games that we come to find out that it's a boy that dresses like a girl. Whereas Poison, from the very first instruction manual of the Final Fight game, they had it in there as she, and it was intentional. They described it as a she, and it was intentional.
Yeah, because you wouldn't think that it was intentional, but Capcom kind of flip flop because at that time you wouldn't think of women.
Wait. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. My memory's wrong. They had it as a he. They had the pronouns a he.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody's like, "Oh, this has to be. This gotta be bad translation for localization, all that stuff." They meant a she, but they keep saying, but they stuck with it every step of the way through every game that Poison's ever appeared in until it got to the point where somebody asked, Ono in Street Fighter 4, like, "Hey, what is the deal with Poison?" We keep hearing he, and that's definitely a woman. And he's like, "No, that is a man." Is transgendered.
It's a woman.
Right,
or
because
transgender woman rather.
Yeah.
When we think of males beating up females in video games, Double Dragon is the first because of Linda and the whip.
Lindas.
Right. But
Those were
when,
women though.
but it was like it was in the 90s in a second, and you wouldn't think about man. Capcom probably didn't take no issue with this because it was man beating up a woman, and so because even when you hear her in the arcade beating her up, she's got the
Yeah,
you hear
yeah,
this female scream, so you just thinking that this is a female because even with the breasts and everything, even in the shirt, like if you beat her up and like I think the Sega CD got one, but you beat her up and her shirtless up, you could see part of her boob there. So it
yeah,
was just like, okay, that's when I was not thinking about a transgender kind of character. When Final Fight came to Super Nintendo, they took her out and replaced it with the guy.
yes, yes, yes.
And so it was just like, wait, this is weird. Like, and I just
Well, that
never
also
thought
that
about
also
it.
goes to the whole weird Nintendo thing, which we can say that for another another podcast.
Yeah, and it was kind of weird because you would never, definitely in the 80s and 90s, you wouldn't think of transgender and gay characters
Right,
at
right.
all. You was just thinking about this is an enemy. She has attacked me, or he has attacked me. I need to punch him in the face, or I need to throw him in the pit. I need to get that. In fact, let me walk around here. Let this dude hide behind. Okay, I glitched the system. Now I'm hitting it with the bat, getting my hearts. Yes, this is an NES Double Dragon trick that I'm mentioning, but it was just like you would never think of sexuality in video games. You was thinking of getting a high score, conquering it, and making sure that you didn't have to throw your controller when you got past the first level of Ghouls and Ghosts.
I honestly feel like sexuality in video games. Well, sexuality is the final frontier for video games. We
Mm.
we think it's VR. We think it is, but that stuff has been around forever. But to get more mainstream, sexuality and stuff, and to all aspects of it, because I mean, speaking of Mass Effect, if you play Mass Effect the way it's originally meant to be played, like you wind up becoming either bisexual or pansexual. You know,
Mhm.
because if you're a male character, your love interests are automatically female in the first game. In the second game, technically it's still females, but in the third game, they're like, oh, well, you can have a male relationship in Mass Effect 3 if you want to. But if you're one of those people like me, like my first playthrough of Mass Effect, I have my relationship with Liara. She's, yeah, technically the is female, but that's an alien, so technically that puts you in the
And
pansexuality, vibe.
the game was designed for that because her character, like she was like your side character in a sense, and you
Yeah,
felt like that was building up to that relationship.
yeah.
Yes.
Now here's something funny. Because of the modding community and stuff like that. You guys, because basically my history of Mass Effect for the romances went Liara, then went to Miranda, and then ultimately went to Caden. Because when I found out, I was like, oh wait, we can have homo relationships. I was like, I'm doing this.
Mhm.
Uh, but I was kind of mad though because I kind of would have wanted to hook up with Vega instead of
Yes.
instead. I mean,
Yes.
even though like Caden was honestly seemed like a natural thing for me because like we had history. Like I kept this guy alive in the first game
I
because
did too. And,
listen,
and
but
this is the crazy thing, LeRon. I barely used him in the game. I used the female in the game.
Ashley had more
Ashley.
Ashley had more utility than Caden did, but a couple of things that made me have more affinity towards him is the fact that Ashley was racist. And I couldn't, and I couldn't. That was one of those ones I know. Technically, you're not supposed to be upset at someone for who they are, but
Mhm.
it does sway your opinion for how you treat them. And Ashley is one of those ones that like. The sad part is she was a better character in Mass Effect 2 and 3 than she ever was in 1.
Okay.
But you had to let her live to find out though.
And that I did not do.
Yeah, but anyway, the reason why I was mentioning that is because on the PC, there's a same sexual relationships mod for the first 2 games. So I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to try this out. Because so basically, when you guys watch my playthrough on my YouTube channel, like, don't be surprised if Shepard hooks up with Caden in the first game.
Okay. Yeah. So now, like, kind of like almost for the last topic. Now that we kind of have The Last of Us and The Last of Us 2 out now, or part 2, I should say, we kind of have a leading character, Ellie, who is a lesbian, as kind of representing what that story and narrative is about. Do you guys think that she's a good choice to represent LGBT, or do you think there's another character or anything? Whether you played her or not, you kind of probably have an idea of who she is and stuff.
I feel like
Tirenzy,
Listen,
speak on it.
go for it.
I'm sorry. I haven't played The Last of Us 1 or 2. Like I don't know who Ellie is. I haven't even looked into it.
Okay, just well, just real fast. We're making spoiler free as possible for you. Pandemic happens. Basically, the world ends, and humans are in their last days. Against basically cracked out zombies that are suffering from a fungal virus, like came from mushrooms.
Okay.
Ellie's you had two characters in the original game, a guy named Joel and a young girl named Ellie. Joel became her protector throughout. He basically was a hired person to like protect her. And the story gets deep and involved, and you come to find out that there's a reason why she's being protected. There's also a reason why that the whole thing changes right in the last 5 to 10 minutes of the game. And that's everything I can say to you without spoiling it. But we come to find out through DLC that Ellie is lesbian. Because in the DLC it shows the situation that happens that makes her the central character of the game.
Mhm.
And they also show that she had a relationship with another girl, and that's what forges her character and gets us to the next game.
Okay.
That's probably about as spoiler free as I can do for you without telling you like the brass tacks of what's going on in the game.
But you probably, if you watch the PlayStation E3s,
the PlayStation experience when they unveiled it.
Yeah, when she was dancing with Dina, now that we know, and how that all plays out before it went to the gameplay, you kind of be like, oh, she's a lesbian. Okay, so you didn't play the other games and stuff. But
my thing about Ellie, Ellie's good at face value for representation, but Ellie's character kind of goes the same way as like if we watch The Walking Dead, how some of those gay characters go, like they're gay and that's part of their character, but it doesn't become the forefront of it. And I think that's the genius part of what Naughty Dog and Sony are trying to do. They're trying to say like, hey, LGBT people are the same as us. We live our lives day in and day out, and just who we love and how we have sex is just another thing of our lives. It's not the driving point of our lives, So I feel like Ellie is a good representation. She might not be the best representation for LGBTQ because, but I can't speak for the entire community about that, But visibility, it's awesome, but we've also got other games that also give us visibility as well, like Mass Effect, for example.
Saints Row 3, that we literally talk, like Saints Row 3 is so open to anybody. You design your character how if you want to make that character gay looking, the romance stuff,
like
it doesn't really
the talk, the walk, and everything.
Like your dude can walk with a switch if you wanted to happen, stuff like that.
And the crazy thing is, without even thinking about it, SmackDown on PS2, when you was able to customize your wrestler, you get to do all of that. Trust me.
I remember that.
My friend,
a lot of wrestling games kind of used to let you do that.
Yes, my friend drew me, put me in the game. They put me in a priest outfit, and then I just walked down with the sexy thing, feeling myself. And I'm like, "What is this craziness?"
It was always Trish.
Yes.
I remember it. It was always Trish walk.
Wait. Was Trish Stratus the most feminine of the female wrestlers during that era?
Her walk was, her intro was at least.
Yeah.
With her coming out strutting, hands, walk.
Wasn't it a point that she like bent down and was doing her legs that way?
Okay, well, if you got it,
in the ring and all of that.
Well, that is true. I mean, she was one of the most attractive female wrestlers from what era was that? Was that Attitude Era?
I have no idea. I can't remember.
Okay, yeah.
It's too much. It's all too much. Um,
I mean, you had the female wrestlers that looked like dudes and looked like they were going to bench press the entire gym, or you had Trish Stratus.
Yeah. I think for this modern age, I would say that Ellie is a good, like you said, visible representation in a sense. But after her ups and downs and what she go through and stuff, I don't think she's fully fleshed out to be that character.
Right.
If we going back to Bayonetta in a sense, like a lot of us feel her fierceness. So whether I feel like for a lot of gay men and maybe some women and trans people, like
Here's
feeling her, you're able to feel her oats, to put it that way, with
Mhm.
Bayonetta, and definitely it's very weird. So cosplay in a sense, like seeing men dress up as females. Princess Peach is the easiest one to go to, but like
Sakura
maybe
from Street Fighter.
yes, or Maya from Fair Fury.
Phil Fury.
Yeah, like with the Boston boots and stuff. Like when men dress up as women and they try to be provocative, you kind of question me like, are they? Are they not? Who knows?
Mm.
As fierce as Bayonetta is, and she's definitely like one of those gay icons and stuff like that. Like I feel like in the games though, like they still present her as a straight woman. Like
Yeah,
okay, a character I think that has complete sexual ambiguity, as far as I can tell, will be Samus Aran. Like she could go either way because they never put like whether she's straight or gay as the forefront of her character.
yes.
As a matter of fact, it doesn't. If I shoot, I would say she's asexual because it doesn't even look like she's even trying about that life. But
No.
They very rarely even hone in on the fact that she's a woman.
Yes, exactly.
They seem to kind of keep that at like,
Yeah.
arm's length.
Yeah, and that's one of those ones that it'd be interesting, if people start thinking like, hey, could Samus Aran be queer, stuff like that, because her sexuality has never been an issue for any game. I mean, it's funny because like people have had more to say about Princess Zelda's sexuality than they've ever had to say about Samus Aran.
This is new for me. I've never heard anyone talk about Zelda sexuality.
When Zelda showed up in the game as Sheik, everybody was like, "Ooh, what's going on with her?
Okay,
What's going on with her?" Like
my thing was like Sheik was kicking tail. I love
Exactly.
Sheik. Samus is my main in Smash Brothers because smashing somebody out while I'm flick kicking them in the air. Ah, yes. Yes. What about you, Kamijace? Do you think Ellie is a good representation or not? Or
I think all representation is good representation. Simply because I think the more that we have to point to as representation at all, whether it be a main character, which it should be, there should be more LGBTQ main playable characters, or it's like a villain or something like that. I think the more we have to point to just to say there are gay characters is the steps that we need to take at the moment. It's nice to have the option of being gay or being, making a trans character in your game, whatever the character creation has for you, that's cool. But I think being able to point to characters in particular that somebody wrote and said, yes, they are gay, yes, they are a lesbian, yes, they are trans, and having that as like I don't know. I don't want to liken it to something like a trading card or something like that, but being able to have it in your arsenal of like, look at all the trans, gay, bisexual, lesbian characters we have is much more important than wondering if they're the right fit to be gay or lesbian, I guess is where I'm going.
Yeah, and it's like their personality.
Let me just add this real quickly.
Go ahead.
Let me just add this real quickly. Like video games are kind of like a way of life for like a good part of society, and And anytime there's that representation, it helps make it more of a normal thing and more of
Absolutely.
normal and accepting thing. It all goes back to like, like I'm getting tired of hearing about kids getting bullied to death until they kill themselves because, they might not, they may or may not even be gay and stuff like that. But the more and more they see it, the more and more they realize it's normal. It's nothing to be ashamed of. I need to not make it this big of a deal.
Yep.
It's some people got to get past your preference and look at your personality and your characteristics, and I think that's why, yeah, yeah, the way that we look at Ellie, the way we look at Bayonetta, the way we even look at Cloud Strife and some like or an Ori and stuff like that, even regardless of how we what their sexual preference is and stuff, when we look at their personality and characters, definitely in games, there's going to be something there that we could relate to. I've always said I love Vivi from Final Fantasy 9. It's because of the way that Vivi deals with abandonment and trying to find himself. And
Mhm.
it was just like that's kind of how I felt at that time. Like, see, I'm sorry. I mean, trying to find myself in at times because of just my skin color and the light skinned kid getting all the girls, and because I'm dark and I wear glasses, I feel like I'm being abandoned and stuff. And just seeing how Vivi dealt with that and everything, it wasn't about the sexual preference. It was about that person's personality and
Mhm.
characteristics that I love. And I think when we get these more like when we get this PlayStation 5 and Series X and wherever Nintendo does, and people want to tell these stories from indies to third party to first party, the way that they present their characters, their sexual preference, if we decide to see if it's there, that would be there. But let's look at their personality and characteristics and how they act and handle in manners and stuff. Because to me, like the relationship between your character in Titanfall 2 and your Titan, like that's a strong, loving companionship bond there.
Mhm.
And I love that game because it's just like, yeah, it could be like bro out and everything, but it's not. It's just like this guy really cared about his Titan and vice versa. This man loved this machine loved this man.
You love to see
And
it.
yeah, and more of a military kind of style thing because it was just like we have a companionship and we bond that way, and we went through all of these missions, and to see this thing happen to him, like you are affected as a player. And it's just like no, that's how I felt when I put down the controller of Titanfall 2. I felt defeated because I didn't want my Titan uh what's his name to whatever happened to him. But then there was, I won't spoil it, you have to play Titanfall 2. It kind of made me look forward to, I really hope that Respawn come to Titanfall 3 and continue the story, at least with this main character, and see where things go, because it really means something to me as a player, you know. So, but thank you guys for that discussion. Now we're going to get into our final portion of the game. I cannot wait for this. We are going to discuss or just list off our top three hot characters. uh, I said to the guys that it could come from any kind of media, anywhere, movies, anime, comics, manga, video games, board games, whatever. So I'm going to start with my co-host, Kamijace. Kamijace, who is your top three? Or who are not your top three? Who are three of them that you find hot
Well,
characters?
I decided to pull from video games I've been playing recently, or video games that had a good a character that stuck out in my mind as being like, yeah, that's the one. Recently, I picked up Yakuza, so I put Kiryu down on the list. He's Japanese daddy. I put Marcus from Watch Dogs 2 on the list
Oh wow.
Ooh.
because I find he keeps his face kind of, covered up most of the time. But when you do get to see him, you're like, okay, yep. I guess he's got the nerdiness going on. He's a little skinny for my taste, but you know what? It's all right. And I also put down Phoenix from Valorant, but I also put Brimstone down, and here's why. Phoenix has the look that I wish I had. A little lithe, The hair is beautiful. I'm trying to get my hair that way. That's why my hat is on. I'm not showing y'all what's going on over there. Um, and he's just really like he's got like a swagger about him, right? And I hate using that word, but he really does. He's got the jacket. His colors pop like fire, right? That's his whole thing. But then I put down Brimstone, and it's because I have the opposite attraction when it comes to men. For the most part, I usually like bigger men, a little bit more muscular, a little bit more rugged, and Brimstone has this kind of like very powerful kind of we're gonna fuck shit up kind of appeal to him. And it was hard to pick between the two of them because they both have this kind of appeal that I like out of the two of them. One of them, of course, being
That's fine.
Black Beauty, right? And the other being this kind of we say, bara muscles, rugged thing going on, and I like that too. I'm into that. Yeah. That's how
I had the message of like, let's see what big booty characters you put on this
I
list.
wanted to, but the only one I can think of, like so far as men go anyway, is Snake, and like his booty's just like muscular. So I'm like, okay, like where's the roundness to it? Where's the cheeks? Where's the cake?
What was Dom from Gears of War? I thought you was gonna choose.
But I don't know that we ever see him outside of it could be the uniform giving him ass. So I need to know.
You know what? I would take that. I would take that. Yes.
They have to. They have to address.
LeRon, who is your top three? I just gotta laugh because this is gonna be interesting.
I stuck with video games as well, even though my bonus character, I would have to say, it comes from an actual animated source. But my video game characters,
is it Full Metal Alchemist?
No. It's Young Justice.
Oh.
Ooh.
Okay. Black Lightning.
Okay.
Interesting.
From the last season of Young Justice. I mean, it's funny because like I've been doing this thing growing my hair out too. And the more I thought about it, the more I was like, I want my hair to look kind of like Black Lightning's in the Young Justice show, because it's unkempt, but at the same time it's also like controlled and stuff like that. Yeah. But also it's something about the voice actor for him. That voice just kind of like sold it for me and stuff like that. But now that I've gotten, I swore to myself I'd never get to that point where it's like, oh, cartoon characters turn me on.
Look,
it's the gay awakening. Actually, I have to say we've spoken about this a few times this month on my show. Everyone has like some kind of character that's like reminds them that they're gay. It's called the gay awakening. It's a real thing.
Oh,
when you
that
were
is
younger,
true.
You probably saw like Spawn and was like,
okay.
Oh yeah, all right,
yeah. But
I'm the black girl gift that's doing.
But going to the video game characters, remember when there was this? Remember when there's a Twitter meme coming out? It's like men, why can't you look like this? And everybody was like throwing up their rebuttals and stuff. I threw up a rebuttal of Gladiolus Amicidia from Final Fantasy 15, because I mean that dude just looks amazing. Like the scars, the tattoos, it didn't matter. That dude looks amazing. So he was one of them. Because I play Tekken a lot. Jin Kazama.
Ooh.
And actually, Jin Kazama has some booty. He does.
Okay, well, hold on. I will verify this.
And then for the third character, Carlos Oliveira from the Resident Evil 3 remake. That is one of the most. You know what? When you see his origins from the original Resident Evil 3 to now, like the one thing I will say is they did not give him the Chris Redfield treatment at all. They buffed this guy up, but they didn't take it overboard. And he actually looks like an actual human being and not some reject from Menudo.
Yep.
So those are my three. I thought I was gonna have a female, because I'm bisexual and stuff like that. But I mean, I was like, these male characters kind of like twist my crank. So let's go for them.
Twist my crank. I'm putting that in my list of things I'm gonna say from now on. Twist my crank.
Eddie's having a malfunction here.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, we can't hear you. It happened when you knocked over your mic.
Oh no.
Hello.
There we go.
Tirenzy, what is your character? It's your choice. Oh no, you got your mic on. You're on mute.
You're muted.
Oh, gotcha. My bad. My first character is Blade. It's actually Wesley Snipes' Blade.
Oh,
Yes.
wow.
When I first saw that, I don't know. It was like the vest, the muscles, the teeth. It all just went together, and I'm like, oh, and it just did something to me. Okay, it was just a sensation went over my body. I'm like, yes, I love. That was one of my favorite movies too. The second character is from the anime, and I don't know. I guess it's his demeanor, how he handles stuff, and he's very cold. It's Jotaro Kujo.
Oh wow. Wow. Okay.
I love Star Platinum, all of that. Like, I don't know. I love that anime.
I have not seen that
JoJo.
anime.
Man, you gotta watch it, man. You gotta watch it. It's something worth watching.
Is that JoJo Adventures?
JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
So, is it on Hulu or Netflix? Where is it on streaming? I thought it just came out.
I thought it was all Funimation. I thought Funimation did that one.
I watched it on Crunchyroll.
Yeah.
I need to watch it because everybody loves that anime, and I just haven't got into it because I haven't seen it.
Beautiful buff boys in that. Triple B, triple threat.
He's already thinking. He's just like, ooh, I need some water.
Listen, my third one is Gerald from The Witcher.
Oh man, okay. I was wondering if he was going to show up.
I love how he look. I love his character design. I love his hair and all of that. Every time I play like an RPG, I literally make my character's hair white and all of that. I don't know what it is about.
I do that too, yeah.
All of my characters in the RPG are white haired, like buff, and all of that. That's the body type I kind of like. I have a picture that I like, but it's different in real life.
I honestly thought of picking Geralt, but everybody would be like, "Oh, you're so shallow," because of course, like the scene in The Witcher 3 when he's in the bathtub, which of course they put Henry Cavill in freaking the Witcher series. I was like, okay, that's too obvious.
He's hot. It's okay.
You know what? I'm surprised no one said Kano from Mortal Kombat, like the latest outing.
He doesn't do it for me. Everybody keeps going back to Mortal Kombat the movie. I'm just like, no.
I'm not talking about the movie. No, I'm talking about the latest Mortal Kombat game.
Oh,
if I choose somebody from Mortal Kombat, it's gonna be Jax because he is.
Tirenzy, if you don't preach the word right now.
I'm gonna try this on. I'll bust it.
Well, look. The reason I it's not like I was even like trying to push Jax to the side or anything. But man, when they just started showing like the highlight reel for Kano in the latest Resident Evil, the latest Mortal Kombat game, all you saw on Twitter was like how Kano could hate crime somebody and it wouldn't matter.
Kano has the kind of male sex appeal that even straight guys like. It's the ruggedness of the beard. He's got his chest out, and then he's like, also chest hair. So what's up?
Mm-hmm.
And then
I like chest hair, so that's a turn on for me.
Yeah.
So,
do you have a bonus character, Tirenzy? I'm sorry.
So when you first said hot character, I thought about like, okay, if hot as in sexual or hot as in like this character's dope. I do have a dope character that I love. And it has to go to Shadow the Hedgehog. Simply because when he first came out, I was so anti-Sonic at that point. I was so sick of getting that goddamn thumbs up. I wanted Shadow. He was so cold. He was dark. He was on skates. My man, he's on skates. He's faster than this man who's running you on skates. Oh man.
And then he had 2 Glocks.
Chaos control. That's all I'm saying. I'm gonna leave it like
that. Okay, so for me, Kajimis already knows. I already put this down. So of course, it's Max Payne from Max Payne 3.
Daddy Mac.
Hot daddy.
Daddy Mac.
That bald hit. Yeah. I had to play Twister, get it wet when I seen him. I was just like, yep, that pretty much does it. Number 2 for me is Blaze from Streets of Rage 2.
All right.
I love Blaze. She kicks major tail. Like,
What do you think of a
is-
revamp in the current Streets of Rage? What do you think of a
She's-
revamp now?
I like her. I like her. See, she's sexy and beautiful in Streets of Rage 2. Who is it? Who's the black dude in Streets of Rage 2?
I can't remember the name, but it's the
Um,
grown up version of the roller skate boy from Streets of Rage 2.
no, it's a remake of. He's a new look from Streets of Rage 1.
What?
Wait, are we talking about in Streets of Rage 4?
Yes,
That I believe. Let me see.
he was the one that won. Skate was his uncle in 2 because you had to rescue him.
Okay.
Adam, yes, Adam in Streets of Rage 4.
No, I like
beautiful
that.
man.
Let me tell you right now, LeRon, you could cosplay as Adam in Streets of Rage 4, and I would be
Please do
driving.
it.
I literally would be driving to your house to snag you.
There you go.
That's an
You heard it
idea.
here first.
That's an idea.
I'm already going to tell you if I see it. If you look like Adam from Streets of Rage 4, I'm finding ways to come and get you, and I'm gonna snag you.
Hold on. You know what? This shows just how rusty I am because I have Streets of Rage 4, but I have not beaten the game. So I obviously have not Streets of Rage 4.
You need a gold shirt, some black pants, some black boots.
Oh, wow.
You have the
Beautiful.
chest and the look for him. So I will snack you up. Number 3, number 3 is from Yakuza Kiwami. It's this version, not Yakuza 0, but Masaru Serra. He's the 3rd chairman. That's an Asian hot daddy right there with the gray hair, and I'm just like, yep, you're a snack for me. My honorable mention will be Full Metal Alchemist. The one character who has the little girl and the dog, and he's always showing pictures of his little daughter. I could not think of his name, but he ends up dying, and somehow his daughter and the dog gets kidnapped, and a mixture happens with one of the characters with them, and it's like really sad, just like super sad. But he has a character in Full Metal Alchemist, not Brotherhood, but the first edition. I cannot think of his name. Yeah, he's my honorable mention. So, but everybody, that has been our Pride panel. That has been our show. Once again, I want to thank everybody. But before we go, we're going to do plugs. Tirenzy, where can we find you at?
You can find me on Twitter at JustFlashMe and Mixer at Tirenzy and Facebook at Tirenzy. Get my name at anything.
LeRon, where can we find you at?
Okay, you can find me on Twitter, X's803, which is also my gamer tag. So you can find me on PlayStation Network as well as Twitch, EXODUS803. Like I said, I'm not putting my YouTube channel out there yet because I'm trying to get the sub count up to get my own custom URL. So eventually that'll be a thing, and I'll get it out there. But those are the places that you can catch me at.
Yes, Kamijace, where can we find you at?
Kamijace Gaming on Twitter, WK Cooldown also on Twitter is where you'll find the podcast Twitter page, wkcooldown.com, weekly cooldown on Facebook. Ooh, I think that's it. I have a Discord page, fucking whatever it is. You could come do that.
Yes, and you guys can find me on Twitter at that Retro Code. You can check out Optional Opinion on SoundCloud and other podcast apps. You can check more content at Boss Rush Games at bossrushgames.com and on our YouTube page at Boss Rush Games there. Once again, thank you, Corey. Thank you, Jesse, for being our producers, for checking out the chat, and you guys just being educated. Hopefully you guys have been laughing along with us and everything. Once again, thank you, Kamijace. Thank you, LeRon. Thank you, Tirenzy. And everybody, have a great week. Have a great weekend. Happy Pride to all you guys, to the LGBTQ community, to our allies. Celebrate it in a good way. We know that there's a lot of things that's going on right now, but let's continue to play video games with each other and be better as always. With that, everybody, we will see you next time on Boss Rush Podcast. Bye, everybody.
Peace out.
Have a good one.